What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of On the Bluff. I am your host, Christian Fowler. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Gabe Kuhn, our producer, Kenny Stubblefield. And boys, before we get started, I want to say Happy Father's Day to
Thank you, sir.
both of you, to all the dads out there. I know this is coming out on Tuesday, so we're a couple days late, but just want to say Happy Father's Day to y'all. Kenny, a vet. What is this, year 12 or 13 for
year 13, baby?
for
Yeah,
Kenny,
man.
year 1 for Gabe. So hope
Hey.
both of y'all had a great Father's Day weekend.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. My first one was great. My wife went hard for me. She gave me,
Great.
she gifted me,
Big pause.
gifted me.
Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, I see where you're, wording. Yeah,
Wordy phraseology, bro.
but she gifted me a brand new grill. Can we give her a round of applause for
Hey,
that?
let's go.
Comes on Friday, and it's great timing because I've been in the house a whole lot more lately, child rearing. So now I can make grilling and smoking my entire personality.
You can be a dad.
I can be the guy on social media where I'm like, I'm gonna use my Heath Riles barbecue rub on my briskets, smoking a brisket low and slow for a nice 8 hours.
You know, I used to
Putting a pork butt out there on the smoker. It's great timing for me.
You know, I used to do all of Heath Riles' YouTube videos, don't you?
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Really?
And shout out to Heath Riles, grand national champion and I don't know what it was called this year, but just at the Memphis and May Barbecue
This
Fest.
sounds like a perfect sponsorship opportunity for the On the Bluff podcast. I can plug the Heath Riles, all the rubs and the spices. I love.
You had Heath.
Great. I got the AP down there.
We've got multiple Heath Riles seasonings in our house right now. I had the privilege of filming with him on set probably 2 or 3 times a week for like the better part of a year and a half. And this guy, I will say this, it was on Heath Riles' back porch deck studio set where Bluff City Media was born. Like that, isn't that crazy? Like, so anyway, love Heath, love all of the stuff he does. Heath, I'll call you. Let's be a sponsor for On the Bluff.
Hell yeah.
Dude is blown up. He is.
So we could start the show every week with what I cooked on my smoker.
Tell me you can't see it though. Like I can see Gabe being a grill dad. Like
getting some yellow mustard for the binder.
Like okay, like let me set the scene here.
Okay,
obviously Gabe's not like a super country redneck type of guy.
He's from St. Louis, man. He's from the hood, bro.
He's I don't know.
From the trenches, huh, Kenny?
He got it out the mud.
You know
baby.
me, yeah.
He's what do you is that technically considered like Midwestern?
Yeah, it's Midwestern, hardcore.
Okay, I didn't know if that was considered like Southern Midwestern, but Gabe's a Midwestern fella. But if you walked out, you don't know this guy, and he's grilling, you're like,
oh yeah,
that dude.
I have a hat with like a nice American flag on the side.
Yes.
I mean, I look the part until you hear me speak.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I think you should lean into it heavily.
Hey, I might. Who knows? I've tried. I'm gonna get the TikTok account up and running. I've been working on what I want to post. I've been reposting all of our show clips on there. So who knows?
It's time.
Yeah.
Okay. So shout out to my daughter. I'm hearing banging outside my window. I'm on the 2nd floor and I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
She's crushing a volleyball up against the side of the house right next to me.
Grinding, man. That's
grinding,
what I like to see.
Getting after it. She starts volleyball practice for her school team in early July. And I've heard about these practices. This is her first year playing for school ball. And I'm like, baby girl, you got to get off the couch. Let's get rolling. So she's getting after it.
So she's not just huffing and puffing.
No, I'm like, you don't want to die.
You don't want to be the person at tryouts that falls out. You know what I mean? That has to like can I get an extra water break? You don't want to be that person.
No, were you ever that guy like early in your football career?
No, I missed like at the University of Memphis. We did super gassers, which is 100 back, 75 back, 50 back, 25 back.
That was like suicides on a basketball court, basically.
Yeah, but we would have to do them in time. I missed my time every single year. Memphis because they would do it day one. Just to
You're
like
not
break
ready.
you back in. I would make the first one, and then the next you would do 4. It's like 4 quarters. The next 3 I'd miss and have to do like extras after. I'm like, and I was like, like the lineman jog, the famous lineman.
Yes.
That was
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I like the by the time I was going down to the 50 on the second one, you were not going to get me to speed up. I wasn't trying to make them times at that point.
I
It was
remember my
survival.
first conditioning day of high school football. Like I wasn't a big dude or anything at that. I was probably 140 pounds at that point in time, but I remember seeing the black spots and
Oh,
having to catch a squat for a minute and be like, "Coach, I need like an extra 30 seconds." That's
yeah,
the only
you're
time
not
it happened.
getting. See, you ain't getting that extra 30 seconds. You're just not getting it.
Freshman in high
You
school.
but they're it's on their time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just gonna have to fall out. You're gonna have to catch back up, young Christian Fowler.
It's the only time I ever,
Figure it
that's the
out.
only time I ever thought about just walking away and saying I'm not cut out for this.
Oh, dude, there were days at the University of Memphis when I'm going through fall camp where I would be in bed at night after
Ugh.
doing basically like an 18-hour day and knowing I have to get up 5 hours later. There would be days I'd be laying in bed with my own thoughts, just like, do I want to do this?
Probably
Do I
whole body
really want to do this
radiating,
anymore?
body
Is this
thumping.
worth it? Is it
I still
really
remember.
worth it?
I still remember you telling us about your welcome to Memphis moment, and I loved asking football players that question. Like, as Jacob likes that question. Yours was with Bryce Huff, right? Freshman.
Well, not even really. That was more like a welcome to reality moment because I was the older guy and I thought I was like, I'm going on to my sophomore year playing right, kicking out to right tackle, just gained a whole bunch of weight in the offseason. Bryce Huff's this brand new, like true freshman. I'm like, I'm gonna kick this kid's ass. Look how skinny he is. He's not big at all. I take 2 kicks back and he's across my face before I even got my hand up. So yeah, it's like a welcome to reality there, brother. You know what I mean? I think my welcome to Memphis moment was with Terry Redden. If people remember him at D tackle, this would have been my redshirt year. I had like had a knockdown block on him one play on scout team, and he goes, "Why are you going so hard?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to make a name for myself. Don't take offense to it." He goes, "I'm about to put you 10 yards into the backfield," and I go, "No, you're not. You're not going to do it." So I fire off as hard as I can on the next play on an inside zone, and he takes me 10 yards into the backfield, lifts my 260-pound ass off the ground, and throws me on my back. And our scout team coach is like, "Why did you let him do that to you?" I'm like,
I didn't.
"You think I wanted him to do that to me? You really think I wanted that?"
The worst part is he
wants
told
that.
you. The worst part is he told you he was going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But this guy's like a junior.
Yeah, that's what I was
He's
gonna
been
say.
playing for years.
I thought Gabe was pretty undersized when he came in too.
Oh, I
like-
was skinny. I was skinny. I was light in the ass for sure. I could I tried to stop him from doing it to me, and I just could not do it. Tough scene.
No chance. All right, boys. Well, let's open it up. We don't have University of Memphis related necessarily news as far as recruiting, scheduling, anything like that, but we do have at least some potential conference realignment talk, news, whatever you want to.
Let me fix
However you
that
wanna-
title. Hey,
Yeah.
professional.
I didn't even sound.
Pete Thamel's on realignment report.
Woo!
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go.
I gotta
okay,
get
so
back.
we're gonna-
I gotta get back into the game here. I was out last week.
We're going to talk about Pete Thamel's report on realignment. It was really an overarching overview look at realignment as a whole, but he did have a whole section on the University of Memphis and what's next for them. And just to kind of summarize a little bit, it was basically talking about Memphis is a pretty important chess piece in all of this because when you look at the non-Power 4 conferences, they're one of the most, best balance, just best overall as far as basketball, football combination goes. And in the report said, that we could see something about Memphis football only in the Pac-12 with the rest of the sports going to the Big East. So obviously there's talk going on about Memphis, nothing concrete yet, but at least has to be somewhat positive if we're hearing stuff like what are we thinking on Pete Thamel's report?
So he said that wouldn't happen until 2027, 28. He also mentioned that there's no there's not a bunch of momentum to a power conference right now, although depending on who you ask behind the scenes, they may have a different take on that altogether. But for me, I view it in a positive light, just because it shows you that the University of Memphis is willing to get out of the American Athletic Conference. They realize that they are not making the money they need to. They're not generating the revenue they need to in this conference, whether it's TV deal or ticket sales, and they're trying to find a functional way out of it. So that's what this does for me. Now, here's the thing. Like, if you've seen the reaction from like Memphis fans, like older Memphis fans, I don't blame them. They're so jaded. Like, they're so jaded at this point. Like, anytime they hear any news on realignment, they're like, believe it when I see it. They just do not buy into any of it. But I view this in a very positive light, because it shows a willingness to get out of your comfort zone for the betterment of the university. Also worth mentioning, and this was a couple of months ago, but USA Today had reported that, and it was Dan Wolken had reported that the University of Memphis reached out to the Big East about this exact scenario and how that would work out. So, like, they're laying the foundation. It seems like there's mutual interest from the Pac-12 for football and the Big East for all the other sports, especially basketball. And I just think that would put you in a very, very good spot as compared to what you've been dealing with for the past, I don't know, 5-6 years.
Yeah, what are the logistical challenges here are there any like split conference challenges that maybe is there anything to that, or is like would the ideal thing be for the Tigers to go to one big one conference?
Yeah, if they ended up in the Big 12 for everything, ACC for everything, great. Like, that would be awesome. But in the meantime, you have to figure out how to generate revenue, because we have revenue sharing with the House settlement. So I think there would be some logistical things, but it's better than going all to the Big 12 or something like that, or the Pac-12, I should say, because that would cost a bunch. I think it makes a lot more feasible sense to be in one conference for football only than to be in one conference for basketball only or something like that, just because I think going forward, football may break off and do its own thing anyway.
Oh, wow.
It may not be NCAA sanctioned going forward based on the way things are going and where we're headed. So I don't think there would be that big of a logistical hoop to jump through, if that makes sense. I think if you're all Olympic sports, basketball, all in the Big East, only have the home in Pac-12 for football, 4 away trips on the West Coast per year is way easier to swallow than an entire athletic department traveling out to the West Coast every week of the year. So I think it would be minimal, honestly, Kenny.
I've got 2 words on any kind of logistical challenges, thoughts, and it's who cares?
That's exactly the words I thought you were going to say.
That's it. I mean, who cares? At the end of the day, if there are logistical challenges, it's a lot better than financial challenges. By far.
But here's the thing: logistical challenges, depending on the actual outcome, logistical challenges could become financial challenges. But the reason that we're talking Pac-12 for only football and Big East for the rest is because you want to avoid those logistical outcomes becoming financial issues.
You're right.
Is that the reason why Ed Scott turned down the initial Pac-12 offer a few years? Was it a year ago? Last year? Was it last year? Is it the financial implications of like the Olympic sports and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean that, and there was just so much unknown with the Pac-12.
Yeah, that's the thing that really
there was 2 teams in the 2 or 3 teams in the Pac-12 at that point in time.
Didn't have a full conference.
No, it was too big of a risk at that point, in my opinion, in every category, financially, logistically, however you want to.
TV deals, they didn't have TV revenue lined up. Yeah,
there was nothing concrete. There was nothing set in stone at that time. So I think that made sense. Obviously, with more infrastructure now, you can make a case for it. And I mean, is the Pac-12 the best case for Memphis football? Obviously not. Obviously, being in a power conference is the best case. Like Gabe said, Big 12, ACC, whatever it is. So what you gain from going to the American to the Pac-12 in football there's definitely a difference there, but it's not nearly as big as basketball going from the American to the Big East. I mean, I know basketball doesn't drive everything. I know me and Gabe have been huge advocates for, look, we know this is a basketball city, but if the football program is able to make it to a power conference, just watch what it does for this university and this athletic department. It is a game changer of all game changers. But if that's a compromise you have to make, basketball in the Big East, football in the Pac-12, you take it, because you think about playing in the Forum and the amount of money that it can generate, and the Big East with what they have, UConn, St. John's, Creighton, what those home crowds would draw compared to Tulsa, Rice, UTSA. It would be an
That's
absolute
night and day when you say it out loud. You didn't have to say it out loud like that.
You don't have to.
You didn't have to hurt.
You didn't have to hurt me like that.
Damn,
That's the job.
Like that is golly. I know I'm giving you shit, but that is crazy when you say it. Like when you really put the American athletic schools up, conference schools next to the Pac-12, next to the Big East, it's like holy shit.
Night and day.
Sucks.
Help me understand.
So
I want both of y'all to like dispel or reinforce this idea. The language coming out right now that I've seen a lot on Twitter is, and this is coming from people that are, national media people, things like that. The AAC football conference isn't that bad. Is it?
No, it sucks. It's terrible.
It's horrible.
It's awful.
It's horrible.
It's miserable. I don't care what anyone says. It's bad.
Yeah. No, and I mean, once again, is the Pac-12 the same that it used to be? Like when you said Pac-12, that it carried some weight. No, it doesn't anymore. You look at Oregon State, Washington State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Boise State. So, I mean, is it great? No, it's not. It's not great. But once again, man, not to keep bringing these same teams up, but like,
hey, bro, just give us.
Temple,
well,
UTSA.
Boise State came into the Liberty Bowl 2 years ago?
Yeah,
and that was a 40,000 person crowd.
Yeah, because
guess who wasn't there? Me and Christian. Because guess where we were?
You were having, but point still stands.
Oh yeah, we were. Gabe's winning.
But I'm just saying, like, that's a stark contrast from even having an 11-win season, and you have Rice at home, and you're only drawing 27,000 because they're like, I'd rather watch this on ESPN Plus. Why do I really want to show up for a game that I think should likely be over in the third quarter?
Well, even pull out the air quotes big dog in Tulane. That's not drawing.
No, I mean it draws better.
It draws better.
Better than Rice and Temple.
Right, but what are we comparing it to?
Exactly.
Collierville High School gets more people there.
Exactly. I mean,
like you're the tallest short person in the NBA. No one gives a shit. Like,
no, not at all. So I mean, even if you did have a Boise State or even a Washington State or Oregon State, programs that have never been like necessarily elite, but they're somewhat recognizable compared to the names that we're talking about, it's not even close. It's not even close. So I know some people might hear Pac-12 and go, well, are we making a lateral move or what are we really doing here? No, it's not a lateral move. It's it's upward trajectory 100%, but it's, I don't know. I guess I can't really retort to those people.
What will ultimately tell us if it's a step up, and this is why I really liked what I saw about 27-28. Like that would be when you make a move like that. We'll really know if it's an upward move when we see the TV deal.
Yes.
And what the revenue is they're generating. Which, 100%. Why, like, there's some people that, like, you should have jumped at that first opportunity. No, I think it's way better to wait on a situation like this so you know what you're getting into financially.
Yeah.
You can assume all you want that you're going to make more in TV revenue if you make that jump. You can assume that all you want, but until pen hits paper, you have no earthly idea.
Yeah. And there are things there are things that are worthwhile to take a risk on and stick your neck out for. But last year, them moving to the Pac-12, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for them to try to spearhead or help spearhead a conference with so much uncertainty that even when they had Oregon and Washington and some of these really good top-level programs, their TV deal still sucked.
Yeah, and then and then for all sports with all that all the different trips you'd have to take out there and how much money that would take.
Yeah,
and then you had to pay an exit fee.
Yeah,
it's like what you think the University of Memphis is made of money? Yeah. What do you think? What do you think? FedEx is just going to pull up with like $100 million for them to make that move? No. If they're like, and here's the thing, I want people to understand this. If there's something on the table for like Memphis to the Big 12, Memphis to the ACC, Fred and FedEx will show up. I don't think the Pac-12 is going to have that allure for those guys. I don't think they're going to give a damn to help pay exit fees and do all that stuff and help out financially with moving to the Pac-12. They'd rather, if they're going to give financial help, let's get big dogs.
Yeah. No, couldn't agree more. All right. Well, let's move it along to the biggest news that we have to cover from the last several days, and that is the trade that sent Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic and sent KCP, Cole Anthony, and what was it, 4 first-round picks?
4 unprotected first-round picks, the 16th pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, to the Grizzlies, and I have seen
a pick swap in 2030 as well.
2030, yeah. I have seen every take possible on this, I think. It has ranged from Zach Kleiman is an idiot to Zach Kleiman is a genius to the Grizzlies are rebuilding to the Grizzlies are retooling to what are the Grizzlies doing? I mean, I have truthfully seen every take imaginable on this. I've seen very, very heavy opinions in both directions. And I think when I first saw it, it shocked me and I kind of went, what are they doing? But when you dig deeper, I think this is one of those rare trades that could work out and at least on paper makes sense for both teams. You look at Orlando, also a young core led by Paulo Banchero, needed three-point shooting desperately, got that with Desmond Bane, no doubt. But on the Grizzlies side of things, when you look at salary cap and the quote-unquote big three, Desmond was the likely guy to move, to be able to shift him around. Obviously, you're not gonna get rid of Ja. You're not gonna get rid of Jaren. And there's even been people saying that was coming down the pipeline next for the Grizzlies. But I think that's a pretty insane take. So I don't know where Memphis goes from here. Maybe you guys have some better ideas on that because we talked about it pre-show. It seems more like a retool than a rebuild. This is a very, very important time for the Grizzlies front office, for Zach Kleiman and everybody up there to make the right moves. You have some assets now. Do you trade them? Do you hold them? Is this a long-term deal? Is it trying to get another short-term window? One of which you already blew. I think there's a lot of different directions, but what do we think are the best options for Memphis going forward?
Well, I think you could use this pick this year. For obviously you're going to have to deal with the roster numbers and everything else. And what are you going to do with Cole Anthony? But I think you could probably take this pick this year, roster that. Maybe you use it to go find another fish, but you have to decide who out there on the open market that you like. I'll say this, though. I think there's one correct take on this entire situation. And I think that the national media is so wrong. Because clearly they do not read Memphis Grizzlies reports. Clearly they don't watch this team play. They're acting like they're the freaking Washington Wizards or something who just traded Alex Sarr, and they're like, oh, well, they're clearly blowing it up and starting again. Like, no, that's not what the Grizzlies are. They won 48 games last year. You realize the Timberwolves, who were in the Western Conference Finals, won 49? Like, they were one game behind a Western Conference Finals team. Right. It's just amazing to me. The questions about, are they going to trade John Jaren now? No. They got rid of Dez, split his contracts into a few different role players so they can build around those guys better. Like, it should be very obvious to people. But the Grizzlies, with this move, built up more experience depth already with KCP and Cole Anthony, if they end up keeping Cole Anthony even. They got back their flexibility. They did that all in one move. Yeah. Like, the fact that people are saying this signals a rebuild. No, it's the opposite. The Bane, Jaren, and Ja weren't getting it done. Bane was the odd man out with the albatross of a contract. You trade him, you reset, you replenish, while you still have a good hand in Ja and Jaren. It's not that complicated, man. And they're making it way more complicated than it needs to be. Now, I would say I'm surprised by their, they should rebuild, tear it all down take. But that's what they do with small markets because they don't see these teams enough. They just see they were swept as an 8 seed out of the playoffs. This team ain't getting it done. Are they ready to tear it down? No, because in the NBA now, you're never as far away as you think. You're never as far off as you think. All it takes is to get better from 3 through 8, like the Pacers are right now in the NBA Finals. And guess what? You could be right there the next year. We've had 7 different champions in 7 years. could make it 8 in 8 years by the time we get to next NBA Finals. I just get so frustrated with people that have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Zach Kleiman said on multiple occasions, we're not trading Ja. Like, this is like 3 times. He speaks 3 times a year. Every time he is called to speak, he says we're not trading Ja. And then the next question out of Colin Cowherd or Kevin O'Connor or
Jay Williams or Brian
Ryan
Windhorst.
Like, are they trading Ja? I'm like, go back to a month ago. He said very clearly, in no uncertain terms, we're not trading Ja.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like I'm taking crazy pills out here. It's what I feel like.
I think it's a little more even like egregious than what you're describing it as. I think it is that they don't understand like what they don't read the Grizzlies reports or they don't talk to the right people. I think there's even a more subversive idea of like what they're trying to do. They want to get as quickly as they can get big name stars to larger markets.
Yes,
it's just the way.
Yeah.
It is the business of the NBA.
100%.
And go ahead.
I'm going to ask Kenny, because he's the biggest Grizzlies fan, I think, out of the 3 of us. Put your GM hat on. What do you do next? I mean, obviously, there's so many different avenues that you can go here. Do you go try to get a big fish that Gabe was talking about? Do you make some of these smaller moves like we've seen smaller market teams like the Pacers make to get them to this point? Yeah. Do you sit and wait and make some of these picks and try to build that way through the draft? What if this is your team?
Yeah,
you have all these assets now. What is the way to go to compete as quickly as possible?
I think you're dealing with a GM at Memphis that realizes last year, the last couple of years, the doubling down, tripling down on youth might have been a mistake.
Yeah,
and I think what he is, we said this on this show when it was announced, this Tomas Isolo hire is literally going to be the last major decision that he makes as the GM of Memphis if it doesn't work out. And so I think he is going to do everything and anything he can possibly do to make this be successful. And I think one of the things that when Brandon Clark got injured halfway through the year, I think what kind of came to realization is the Grizzlies don't have any assets to really do much with their roster. What this trade does is it takes, like, I think Desmond Bane is who Desmond Bane is always going to be. He is who he is. And so I think they had to be some like recalculation on, can we win with Desmond Bane, with the contract, with the money that's tied up in Desmond Bane? Can he bring a championship, help bring a championship to the Grizzlies? And I think the answer is clearly after yesterday or after Sunday, no, it can't happen. And so I think what happened is Zach is saying now, like, I've got all of these assets and I've taken this albatross of a contract that if you talk to a lot of NBA people, a lot of people that understand salary cap, view Desmond Bane's contract as negative value in the trade market, and turned it around to a veteran 3-and-D guy in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a expensive backup point guard who I don't think will ever set foot in Memphis as a Grizzly.
But I think he has trade value.
He has absolute trade value. You've got 4 first-round unprotected, yes. Christian. Unprotected is the word. Unprotected. You have that 2026 first-round pick that either is it's whatever happens between Phoenix and Washington. Whoever has the worst pick out of Phoenix and Washington, which both of those teams are going to be terrible. Going to be terrible that year. More than likely, that's going to be a lottery pick in 2026. I think what Zach Kleiman is going to do is I think he is absolutely going to take these contracts now, these at the trade deadline. We're putting all of our chips on Gigi and Vince Williams being great. They're not. I think that's over with. I think they will absolutely take those contracts.
Yeah,
Brandon Clark's contract, and I think you're going to start seeing value adds being added to it. We need another first-round pick. We got 5 of them right here for you. Yeah. Like, take one, right? Like, so if I'm him, do I go after a big fish? I think the beauty of it is that you have the opportunity now with the assets that you have in place. I think you're going to see them go after 2 or 3 different guys that are mid-level guys.
I think here's something essentially to just like put this in layman's terms. You took Desmond Bane's contract and you split it into 2 or 3 really good role players.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you're doing. And you can you can have some versatility. You can go get a center. You can have a point guard. You can have a shooting guard. You can have a wing, whatever it is. But you're taking that big ass contract and splitting it up into a $20 million contract and a $10 million contract and a $7 million contract. Because to be honest with you, if the Pacers are showing us anything in these NBA finals, that's how you can do it. You can get there. You have Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton, then you have Nesmith, Nembhard, a $20 million Miles Turner,
Obi Toppin, you've
really
got
a relatively cheap Obi Toppin. Like you have all these different value. TJ McConnell's probably a $7 million per year guy. Like you have like these somewhere in the range of $5 to $20 million or $25 million per year. You have a bunch of those contracts.
Yeah.
And you get value out of those guys and you find more depth and you can operate that way. I think that the more that you dug into this Bane on a max, Ja on a max, Jaren on a max,
you're stuck.
The more you dug into that, the less you were going to have 3 through 8. Right. So you have to strengthen your roster in different ways.
Let me ask you this, Christian. Would you, if you had the choice, if you're a Memphis Grizzlies fan and you say, okay, this is what a move that they could make. If you turn that Bane contract into basically almost a consolidation trade where you're able to then take a John Conchar, a Brandon Clark, maybe even a Gigi Jackson, and go to New Orleans and say, hey, listen, man, like we want Trey Murphy.
Yeah.
Give us Trey Murphy, 6'9" sharpshooter who can defend, who can handle the ball. And but New Orleans is like, but we're kind of in rebuild phase right now, so we're gonna need a first rounder to it. I got one.
Got it.
There you go.
I have a really good one next year, by the way, if you wanted it.
Does that make Trey Murphy and maybe another guy, maybe somebody else, maybe you don't attach John Conchar to it and you add John Conchar and a first round and you get Herb.
Yeah.
Right? Like what if like you have all these different options? The Grizzlies roll out next year with Ja Morant, Jalen Wells, Trey Murphy, Jaren Jackson Jr. and you can go get another big.
Once Zach Edey
gets back, whoever. That makes them a better team, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Because I think the thing is now you were kind of like y'all were saying, you were kind of pigeonholed with those 3 players. As far as what we can do with players 4 through 8 is so limited just because the money's not there. And it's basically you got a 1 in 10, 1 in 15 shot on hitting on a bargain bin free agent that pans out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the hope at that point. Now you have all the assets I think you need to build a team that can compete.
Yeah, you'll have a middle class on your team instead of 3 highly paid ass guys and a bunch of Scottie Pippen Juniors on minimum deals.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, look, would you rather have Jaren, Ja, and Desmond Bane and a bunch of nobodies around them, like Gabe's saying, veteran, minimum contracts that they might have a good game every now and then, but what are they once the playoffs come? Right. They're not 100%. Someone who can help you win games. And if you do what Gabe was saying, you spread that over 3 players, a 20, a 10, a $7 million player, 3 guys. If you hit, not any 3 guys, if you hit on those 3 guys, it's better than having one Desmond Bane. And that's not discrediting him. Obviously, he's one of the best shooters in the NBA, a 20-point per game guy. Like, he's a great player, especially on the offensive end of the floor. But can he take you over the top? And that the answer is clearly no. But the Pacers are the perfect example. I know we keep bringing them up, but look, I mean, they traded for Tyrese Halliburton. They traded for Pascal Siakam. Those were great moves. And then they nailed the guys that they got around them. They got Aaron Nembhard from the Celtics,
Aaron Nesmith.
Nesmith from
Andrew
Nembhard. All these other guys that they piece around them. Of course, that's the part of being a GM. That's the part of being in upper management of any professional team. You have to hit those picks, those free agents, those trades. They have to work with the guys that you have. They have to complement those guys. And now that's the job. Making this trade was the easy part. Landing the assets.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, I agree. Listen, Zach Kleiman has a hell of a lot more work to do. But I'll say this was a hell of a start. This was 100%. An unbelievable return on a guy like Desmond Bane. I have one more thing before we go to break and get to the hot three. That kind of pissed me off when it came to the national media coverage. Brian Windhorst put this out there. And obviously he's one that's like, oh, is John and Jay, are they available? No, they're not, Brian. Like, just do a little bit of research and you'd figure that out. And luckily we have one guy with a brain over there. And it was this morning. Who was it? It was somebody put out a report of intel they got. It was Tim Bontemps. Tim Bontemps said, they're not planning on trading either Ja or Jared. But another thing that Brian Windhorst said was, we know that KCP signed for about $20 million a year with the Magic last offseason after having a really good run, winning a title
with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
He said it this way after 1 year, and we know that KCP had a little bit of a down year. He said the Magic were paying extra to offload the contract of KCP. and I'm sitting there and I'm like, no. Like, maybe that's how you view it. But I watched KCP play last year.
Yeah.
And he did everything he was expected to do except shoot the ball well. That's it. But I'm sorry. That seems like more of an outlier than the norm, man. He shot the 3 years leading into last year, 39%, 40%, and 38%.
Mm-hmm.
While he's around Nikola Jokic. Before that, he was with LeBron James doing the same thing. He still defended at a high level, good point of attack defender, good off ball. Still knocked down the three after January 1st at a 39% clip. The only thing he didn't do well was shoot the ball last year. And he still shot around 35%. It's just amazing to me that's like, they're acting like KCP's some over the hill type role player. I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, he started 77 games.
Yeah.
Like Howard and still defended at a high level. Maybe you should look at his surroundings last year. This is what I noticed. Every year he's been good. What does he have? A really good facilitator and a damn good player, right? Nikola Jokic, LeBron James. Those are the last two he's been with, and he's performed at a high level. Last year, you know who his point guard was down the stretch? Corey Joseph.
Corey
Joseph
Shout out
was
Corey
his point
Joseph.
guard. Like, imagine Ja Morant and the open looks he could get KCP in this offense. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. I just thought that was another bit of stupidity from the national media regarding this trade, acting like KCP's some throwaway albatross of a contract that can't do shit the rest of his career. Absolutely insane work.
All right, Kenny, quick break. Be back with the hot three.
Damn it, you got to give me more time than that. Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderlin Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code BluffCity for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story. We're back.
I didn't even know you got a new tattoo.
I do have a new tattoo.
Hey, flash it real quick.
Hey, boy, let's go.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I had no
man.
idea.
Yeah,
Didn't even tell us.
I got one for the commercial.
It was a throw in for the sponsorship. You said if you guys give us sponsorship dollars, I'll get a
I
tattoo.
will let you tattoo me.
Little did he tell you, he got one on his ass cheek too.
yeah, I did.
He got a little Winnie the Pooh eating honey on his ass cheek.
Hey, before we get to the hot three, I wanted to give one big shout out. Today, this is recorded on Monday. Tonight this afternoon at 4 p.m., Anthony Sane from the Anthony Sane Show on Bluff City Media, Sane Asylum on Twitter, started the Memphis Magic Volleyball Club, and it's a nonprofit thing that he's starting where he is literally taking the sport of volleyball into places in the city of Memphis where there might not be opportunities like what you see in other places that are surrounding the city of Memphis. They had their first free clinic today, Gabe and Christian, and had 41 girls come
That's awesome.
to play.
Wow, that's great.
Just incredible, man. Like, as somebody who has become a massive volleyball dad, recognizing how beautiful the game of volleyball is, just the opportunity for these young ladies to come in and learn. And they had, I'm telling you, they had former Division I coaches there that were there helping train them. You can go on Anthony's Twitter, go on his Facebook and see all the pictures and video. I'm going to have some video coming from the next clinic out on Bluff City Media. I'm just so proud of him and just the work that he's doing. He saw this vision. We were on the phone together about a year ago when he said, I think I want to do this. And it's happened in a year. He got it together, has gyms. It's all over the place. Now, it is just going to be an incredible opportunity for these young ladies to just fall in love with the beautiful sport of volleyball. And so I'm really, really happy for him and really happy for Julia, who's also involved. And I just love it. And I just want to give a big shout out to him.
Yeah.
Salute.
Well, shout out
to him. All right, let's get to the hot three. There's been some weird conversations coming out of the NFL. Specifically with the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals. You guys kind of put me on game a little bit that they're notoriously cheap, right? What's some of the history with that? You guys were talking to me about that. The Bengals are historically a cheap franchise with their players. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they draw out negotiations. They are constantly having players that are holdouts or in situations where they can hold out because instead of doing what most teams do and preemptively paying these players like a Shemar Chase or a T. Higgins when they're an elite level player, they try to wait these players out, wait them out. They end up holding out or they end up franchise tagging them, and it typically doesn't work out for the player or for the organization. I think it's why they let Joe Mixon walk over maybe $1 million or $2 million last year, and he ended up with the Texans, or they trade or something. I don't remember the exact scenario, but it had to do with finances, of course. So yeah, they are a poverty franchise. Well, as far as the ownership goes.
Yeah, this year they're doing it again, right? 2025 17th pick in the draft. Shemar Stewart. Is he still? He's the only rookie at this point to not sign his rookie contract
in the first round.
In the first round. Yeah. So he's basically there, and y'all can help everybody understand like what the Cincinnati Bengals are doing with his contract negotiations. But the reports is that Shemar Stewart is talking about the nuclear option of I'm not going to sign and I'm going to re-enter the 26 draft. This is is this relatively unprecedented?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And this goes back
on all fronts.
Yeah, this goes back before the draft. Trey Hendrickson, who led the league in sacks last year, and I think maybe 2 of the last 3 years, he's been in the top 3 for sack leaders. He's been up there for Defensive Player of the Year. He's been incredible since they got him from the Saints. He got a new contract, I believe, 2 years ago. He's trying to get a new deal with the success that he's had with whatever it's been, 35, 36 sacks over the last 2 years. They're not doing anything with him. He's come out multiple times and talked about just how he's kind of felt disrespected, and
Wow.
he hasn't went full scorched earth on the Bengals front office yet, but you can tell there's been a lot of times where he's been close to it. So it started with that. And so what did the Bengals do in the first round? They draft Shemar Stewart, defensive end, 17th overall. And it kind of looks like, okay, this could be the Trey Hendrickson replacement because they don't want to up his contract from, I think it's 18 or $17 million a year. They don't want to pay him $28 to $30 million a year that a top-level defensive end makes. So they draft one in Shemar Stewart. And it comes out a couple weeks ago or a week ago that he was holding out, and this option of going back into the draft, which I've never even heard of. That tells you how unprecedented it is. Like, this doesn't happen, and it's because they are trying to say if he gets injured in the preseason training camp, anything like that, or has any off-the-field issues, runs into any trouble before the season starts, they will not guarantee his contract. Which is just, I mean, it's an absurd thought. You've never heard that before. It's never
been done. Ever.
It's never been done. It's never happened in the history of the league. The Bengals front office.
First round picks are guaranteed contracts. That's how it works.
And
then if you void that year's money, which is in every standard contract. To say that a default or a void of the contract would void all guaranteed money for the rest of the contract is despicable. You guys are really trying to pull one over on this young kid. That's what you're trying to do.
Wow.
And it brings up, like, the biggest question it brings up to me is, like, this shows from the front office down, like, that they don't believe in this player.
In him.
Me.
Right.
And if I was Shemar Stewart, I'd feel the same way. It's like, why did you draft me if you think I'm either going to be injured and not be able to play or do something off the field that causes me to miss games? Why even waste a pick on me? It was the 17th pick in the draft. There was every single player in the draft other than 16 people that had been before me. Why are y'all taking me if you don't want to pay me, if you do think this is going to be an issue? It just is like the ultimate disrespect, especially for someone that's, finally living out their dream, going to the NFL, and they have to deal with this. It's like Gabe says, despicable.
Well, what really gets me is exactly what you just said. Shemar Stewart is a developmental prospect.
100%.
He played 3 years at A&M, and he had 5 sacks. I totally understand the Bengals, mindset and why they're trying to do this. But here's the thing. You didn't have to take him if you had that in mind already.
No.
If you thought that he was going to be shit when he got into the NFL, you shouldn't have taken him 17th overall. They're trying to make this contract match what they think about him as a player. But you had a first-round pick, and you spent it on this player. At that point, you pony up what you're supposed to pony up. Stop trying to get over on the kid and pull a fast one and give him his damn money. It's not that complicated. And also, you know how unserious it is to try to put the squeeze on Trey Hendrickson using this DN, Shemar Stewart, and Trey Hendrickson's also holding out, and now Shemar Stewart's like, no, I'm not signing this stupid-ass contract you put in front of me. You look like a completely unserious franchise, and you get what's coming to you. And here's the other thing you have to understand. They got to invest in defense, brother. They were one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year. They have a brand-new defensive coordinator, and they have not invested. If you look at this offseason, Trey Hendrickson's held out, Shemar Stewart's held out, and their leading tackler, Jermaine Pratt, just signed with another organization in the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Even with that terrible defense they had last year, their best players are going to be either off the field or away from the team with another team. You spent all this money on offense. You went 9-8 with one of the best offenses in the league. You clearly need help on defense. At some point, you have to invest in that side of the ball, or you're going to get bad results like you did a year ago, like you did the year before. It's not that complicated to understand.
Yeah,
they make things so much harder on themselves than they need to.
I'm pulling it up right now. I thought this was right, but I just wanted to verify. Trey Henderson is scheduled to make 18.6 this year, and like you said, we don't know if he'll play, if he'll get a new contract, what will happen there. But they're excluding him, so we're taking Trey Hendrickson out of the picture. Their highest paid defensive player going into this year is Logan Wilson, who's a really solid linebacker, at $8.7 million. That is their highest paid defensive player as far as cap hit goes.
And how much do they have sunk into 2 wide receivers and a quarterback?
Cap numbers this year for Joe Burrow is 46, T. Higgins 24, Jamar Chase 23. So 47 plus 45, 100,
Listen, man,
102,
if you
103
want to
million.
ignore one side of the ball, you get what's coming to you, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say to you. Like, it's bad GMing, it's bad business.
Yeah, no, it's rough, but that's all I got on that. I mean, it's a crazy situation.
Shemar Stewart's the kid y'all were talking about prior to the draft that
I didn't like him.
Y'all didn't like him, right?
I know I was not
right.
A fan.
I was not a fan. Like, he was on my don't draft list.
So is this buyer's remorse?
Is this buyer's remorse?
It can't. I mean,
Well, how?
Are they intentionally sabotaging this so that they force him back to the draft so they don't have to take him?
No, there's no way.
I hope not.
I mean, they would just lose a first-round pick. I mean, it would be like they didn't even have a first-round pick this year for no reason. Obviously, somebody believed in him in the building, or they wouldn't drafted him. I mean, it's insane.
Well, maybe it's buyer's remorse, but you haven't seen him play yet, and it's like, again, like
you picked
have
him.
Buyer's remorse on a guy who is not suited up for you yet.
Yeah,
it sounds like you fucked up your entire draft and your whole evaluation process.
Definitely.
Watch some heads.
On the same page, clearly.
Watch whatever happens with the Shemar Stewart thing. Watch what happens to some of the draft room guys in the Bengals front office. Are they gone? Right? Like, are they going to be gone? Our head's going to roll.
Yeah.
Then I think yeah, bro, y'all messed up.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to topic number 2. Right now, it's Monday night. The NBA Finals is on. Game number 5, Indiana versus Oklahoma City. The series is tied 2-2. Oklahoma City is up 35-24 on Indiana with 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Guys,
can I kind of take this a direction?
Take it
You
wherever
don't
you want to
mind?
go. Yeah.
It's really going to be hard to discuss this series right now with Game 5 going on right now, because we might have opinions that look totally black by the time this game ends tonight.
Yeah.
So can we talk just about this series? We talked about it a couple weeks ago with people talking about it's 2 small market teams. Who cares? Who's going to watch it? I don't care about how many people watch this series. I don't care about those numbers at the end of the day. But can we just talk about how these 2 small market teams that, quote unquote, no one cared about, no one wanted to watch in the finals, how great of a finals?
Yeah, they're battling their ass off.
It's been awesome. This has been a great final so far.
And it's wild to me too, because the Pacers are these fourth quarter warriors. You get into Game 4 and they were abysmal in the fourth quarter. Like, this is one of those series. I think one thing we do like something we appreciate when it comes to big matchups like this, whether it be Super Bowl or World Series, we like unpredictability. This is as unpredictable of finals as I can remember. Game 1, crazy comeback. Game 2, obviously, you thought that was the one expected thing. Slaughter them. Game 3, you're like, okay, kind of must win for the Thunder. They at least have to split this. We'll see what happens. The Pacers run away with that thing. Game 4, Pacers really had a chance to shut them out and put them in a really bad spot. They're on their home floor. They rarely lose on their home floor.
SGA just took it over.
And then SGA in the fourth quarter takes over. And the Pacers, who are the fourth quarter heroes of the playoffs this year, look horrid in the fourth quarter. I can't get a beat game to game, quarter to quarter, hell, possession to possession on what's going on in this series. That's why I like it. I think the unpredictability of it
Absolutely
is what has made it great so far.
Yeah, like you said, anytime you think you feel the series out, because I've heard multiple people say, like, after Game 1, the Thunder dominate that game, the Pacers win on a buzzer beater, and people were calling fluke immediately. Thunder's still going to win this in 5, 6 at the worst.
Right.
Like, this, it's over. It took a crazy fourth quarter comeback and a buzzer beater just for them to win. Then the Thunder beat them handily in Game 2, and it's okay. See, we told you so. This is back to regular scheduled program. Like, here comes the beatdown we were expecting. And then first game in Indiana, the Pacers come out, same thing. They kind of stick around, rally late, win the game again, go up 2-1, take a lead, and then it goes back the other way. You see the Pacers kind of win throughout the game.
Pacers rolling through 3 quarters in Game 4.
But it looked like kind of uncharted territory for them. It's like they're used to playing behind. They're comfortable from playing behind.
Yeah.
They get a little tight playing from ahead in the fourth quarter. And now, where we sit right now, 8 minutes left, Thunder up by 11. Who knows? I'm not even going to try to gauge what happens for the rest of this game. But I'm with you. The unpredictability, who knows what's going to happen. SGA has been showing out. We talked about last week, through the first 2 games, Tyrese Halliburton hadn't played well other than the buzzer beater. And then in the next 2 games, he plays extremely well. So it's just it's a yo-yo of a series. You can't get any kind of read for what's going to happen. And it's just been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I wish the NBA itself would have taken this series a little more seriously and tried to make it feel a little special, because it just feels like.
And I love how the NBA also is like, you might as well make NBA Twitter like a board member on the board of governors, because they just keep making. They're putting logos back on the floor for the NBA Finals. They're showing the player.
They're showing the player intros today.
They're calling for it. Like, it's hilarious, man. Seeing how much they react.
I think this is on another show. The NBA is like the Taylor Jenkins. They're responding in the playoffs like Taylor Jenkins. Wait until Game 5 to make adjustments, right? It's just. I think you put it perfectly. I feel like the NBA didn't take this series seriously.
No, and
it's being thrown in their face. Like, do y'all not feel better about the future of the NBA? Like the talent that's there. When all these big names, when LeBron and Steph and KD and all these guys are gone, everybody's freaking out. Like, what's the next steps for the NBA? Like, who are the next guys? There's plenty of talented players, guys that can take that next step, and we're seeing it.
The crazy thing about it is that that's been a question for the last couple of years of who's going to be the next face of the NBA. Is it going to be Jason Tatum? Is it going to be Anthony Edwards? Like
John Morant? Will it be John Morant?
John Morant, SGA, like all these players. And it's like, look, okay, as the NBA, you have to be smart and you have to know the end's coming for a lot of your big ticket guys. And so if you have a series between SGA, who looks like he could be one of those faces of the NBA, and Tyrese Halliburton, who's become a superstar and a household name throughout these playoffs with the way that he's played, and then you go into the finals and say you have an opportunity as an organization, as the NBA, as this entity, to build this matchup and make it, even though most people don't want to call it a heavyweight fight because it's the Pacers and the Thunder, you have the opportunity as the NBA to make this feel like a heavyweight fight and make it feel like we're watching prime Mike Tyson and prime Roy Jones Jr. step into the ring with each other. And they just didn't do. I mean, they lost that from the beginning, and of course they're trying to backtrack now and make it better. But it's like you could have made this feel like a spectacle and made people feel like, okay, we're about to see the coronation of like the next big thing in the NBA, and they just totally bluffed that opportunity.
What do you think about people bitching after a Game 4 about the officiating in the fourth quarter from Scott Foster?
Bro,
what'd you think?
How many free throws did they shoot in that game?
38 to 33. It wasn't that big. Wasn't that big of a differential.
No, I'm saying the amount of calls is just like when he's out there is just crazy to me.
Oh yeah, the game.
He called 12. He called 12 fouls on the Thunder and 11.
No, Kenny's just saying overall.
Overall,
a lot. Okay,
just the imprint on the game.
Game four, I think lasted 25 to 28 minutes longer than any of the other.
Can I be honest though? I'm tired. People don't like the Thunder, and I think that's where this comes from.
I agree.
Quit bitching about the push off and the supposed travel. It's not a travel. Yeah. It was gather 1-2, put up a jumper, and then the push off. It looked worse than it was because Aaron Nesmith tripped over SGA's feet. Now you could tell me it's a push off, and if you called it, you called it. But I also remember the shot from Michael Jordan against Brian Russell. That was a push off as well, and it looked bad because Brian Russell was trying to recover, and there was a little bit of a shove, and he went flying. Like, I don't know, man. It just seems so
overblown.
So overblown, man.
I would care less.
Lost Game 4 because they peed down their leg late.
Yeah, I agree.
Turner airballs a 3. Tyrese Halliburton airballed a 3 and got blocked. They didn't go to Pascal Siakam at all.
He stood in the corner. He stood in the corner for the fourth quarter in Game 4. I agree with. I understand what you're saying, Gabe. I think what's frustrating for me is not like I would err on the side of don't call anything. Like let it all go. Yeah, let them play. It's the very obvious, like the reason why I think there's a reaction to the push off is because those fouls are called for OKC a lot of times. And it's like, so when you don't call it on the other way, it's like, okay, be consistent. It's the consistency there that I think is, but I would agree with you. Let them all push off. Let them all do that. Like, I'm fine with it.
I just didn't find anything egregious, and it seemed like everybody else on social media did, but that's what social media does. They don't like the Thunder. People don't like the Thunder.
No, they don't.
For whatever reason.
For no good reason, because the Thunder are awesome. They're
well,
awesome.
Chet's like, oxtails and greens at Thanksgiving. It's like, shut up.
Hell up, bro.
Stop it, dude. Who are you fooling, man? Like, no.
Oxtails.
Listen, I like oxtails too. Your dad is not stewing up oxtails at Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. I've seen your dad.
Isn't he from Portland?
Your dad looks like he listened to a bunch of Grateful Dead back in the 70s, man.
I'm pretty sure
Minnesota. He's Minnesota. You're right.
Yeah, but again, it's just a little corny to me.
Oh, it's corny.
J-Dub's a little corny as well. I like SGA. I like really just about everybody else on that roster. But those two guys, I think, really sort of sour it for everybody. The Chet and the J-Dub experience. That's
I don't know, man. I think SGA's a little bit more corny than J-Dub. I think J-Dub is
he's
awesome.
Corny, but I don't know. It's like it's like, I don't know. It's a respectable corny to me.
SGA.
It's like a fine, like he's a big IG.
You just realize he's Canadian. You just realize he's Canadian, so it's like, okay, that makes sense.
It makes sense. By the way, did you hear his dad on with Jeff Teague on their podcast?
He's super Canadian.
Well, no, that's not where I was going with this. Yes, he is super Canadian, but he basically said, like, oh God, he was talking about Jeff Teague's wife. Let's just put it that way.
He's trying to be so careful right now. I love it.
I don't want to say what he said.
Don't get canceled.
He said he would breed Jeff Teague's wife. I'll breed her for you. And I go, what the I mean, if that was me, guys, if one of you said that to me, I'm reaching across.
Shutting it down.
Slapping the shit out of you.
We shutting this down, bro. Yeah.
I'm slapping
Well, I want to apologize for what I said about Taylor earlier. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
All right. Last topic. Let's get out of here. Gosh, Kenny's just a live wire.
I apologize. All right. Last topic. Knicks coaching.
I brought up the SGA's dad with Jeff Teague.
Yeah. That's on me.
I fed into Kenny's worst,
My intrusive thoughts came out. All right, here we go. Knicks coaching search. Last topic. Guys, this is a cluster. Like, this is legitimately like 4-alarm blaze. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is terrible. They fire Tom Thibodeau, and the first coach that they have in for an interview is our very own Taylor Jenkins. like, what do you think the New York Knicks fans? No, but I mean, I know I buried the lead on a lot of stuff that happened before.
You're right.
But just on face value, you fire Tom Thibodeau, and your next head coach could potentially be Taylor Jenkins. Like,
here's the thing. They have no plan, but it's even worse than you think. They reach out to and get denied by 5 separate teams, which, first of all, that's like going up like to someone in a happy relationship and like, hey, can I take your girlfriend on a date? No, you can't take my girlfriend on a date.
What are we talking about?
Are you on drugs, sir? What type of drugs did you take before asking me that question? So that in itself is insane. But like, people will say they didn't have a plan, and that is true. But it goes even deeper than that. These are the coaches that they reached out to and got denied requests. Ime Udoka from the Rockets, Chris Finch from the Timberwolves, Jason Kidd from the Mavs, Quinn Snyder from the Hawks, and then Billy Donovan from the Bulls. So let's dig deeper.
Billy Donovan. I'm sorry.
Yes, from the Bulls. But the Bulls are about to extend him. The Bulls are going to give him a contract extension.
What pictures?
I don't know.
What pictures does he have?
No, those Florida national championships have carried his entire career. It's unbelievable. It is crazy how much. But okay, so let's go through those names again. Ime Udoka, Chris Finch, Jason Kidd, Quinn Snyder, Billy Donovan. They clearly didn't have a singular person that they wanted to go get. But can I dig deeper? Of those names, and let's throw in Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins because they've interviewed them. Can you tell me what type of coach they want?
No.
Tell me what type. Do they want offense? Do they want defense?
No.
Do they want a guy who's really gonna
a developmental coach, a
developmental
coach?
a championship winning coach?
motivator.
Do they want somebody who's been in the conference finals, or do they want somebody who has less experience? Like, that's the thing that I can't get. Not only did they not have a name in mind, they didn't even have a type in mind. They're just throwing shit at the wall, hoping it sticks. And I can't. You're the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's my thing.
What are you doing?
Like you said, they didn't have a plan, which is crazy because I think when we saw Tibbs get fired, at least my thought process was they have to have someone in mind. They just had, this is the most successful season they've had in 25 years. Tom Thibodeau took them to that point. Say what you want about Tibbs, but he's had at least a decent amount of success in this league. And this year had very much so success making it to the
Eastern Conference Finals.
And so you're thinking, okay, they've got to have something here. They got to have a plan in mind. There's somebody that they're looking at. And you just mentioned a list of names, Gabe. Also, Jay Wright, they've reached out to, who is retired, who left Villanova a couple years ago. And it just seems like they're going to ask everybody till somebody says yes. And if
Taylor
they
Jenkins, coach of the Knicks, man, that makes me laugh so hard.
The only two people that they've talked to is Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins, as far as anything formal. I don't know is Mike Brown happened yet, or is it just Taylor Jenkins?
I think Taylor Jenkins, guys, by the way, he has a good a chance of getting that job as anybody.
Yes, which
he's at the top of their list.
It just makes you look at James Dolan and all the front office people for the Knicks and go, okay, if you had something concrete in mind and said, we're going to move on from Thibodeau, we feel like we're right there on the cusp and we think fill in the blank can move us over to the top, you can respect that. But if you fire a coach that just took you to the Eastern Conference Finals and you have nothing, and I mean nothing,
you bring in Taylor Jenkins,
even to the extent that Gabe said of not even having like a type of coach in mind for what you want, it just shows total lack of control, and it's why people have clowned James Dolan.
It's like
firing Tom Thibodeau for Taylor Jenkins. Like, think about that,
is
man.
Wild business.
Wild.
It's like the Knicks have bought into the idea, kind of like what the Lakers have bought into, that because they're New York, because they're LA, they should be able just to like do whatever they want and not have to suffer the consequences of it. Right?
Yeah.
Like that was my big when Dan Hurley turned down the LA Lakers a few seasons ago, or last season. I was so happy because I was just like, they are trying to subvert all of the BS stuff that they've done throughout the years. Terrible contracts, really terrible coaching, like just the decisions that they've made, and bring in a Dan Hurley who could potentially do a good job. I don't know how well he'd translate from college to the NBA, but I was so happy that it was like, nah, bro, I'm staying in stores instead of going to LA. This feels like the same kind of situation. It's like their plan was, we're the New York Knicks. Like
whoever we want,
we get.
Yeah.
What's also funny is to have that mindset and realize that James Dolan is the one calling the shots behind the scenes. Like, James Dolan's burnt more bridges than we will in our entire life, with coaches, with front office personnel.
Combined.
Like Mike Malone, in my opinion, is the best guy for that Knicks job. Michael Malone.
Go get him. Yeah.
But they can't. But Michael Malone's father had a run-in.
Brendan Malone had a run-in with James Dolan.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's
wow.
When you think through their problems, everything comes back to that guy. It was born on third base.
They got bigger problems, Gabe.
The Sphere in Vegas.
They got bigger problems. Let me show y'all something. Came out today. Their second best player on the team posted a picture.
What are we getting here?
I'm going to show y'all a picture of what he posted. They got bigger problems than just their coaching.
Show me.
Search.
I'm excited,
bro. What is Cat doing?
Wait, what is this, man?
I thought this was
that's not real. That's Cinto. No way,
bro. That's from his account.
That's not real. That can't be real.
I saw this, but I thought it was a joke.
That's not real. That's fake, bro.
Man got a something tramp stamp. Like they got bigger problems.
He's trolling. I think he's just trolling.
Big Kitty.
That looked. Hey, I just got a tattoo. That looks very real to me.
Big Kitty.
Look at the red around it. The skin is puffy.
Yeah, but
Like-
I'm saying is that actually his bag?
Oh,
or-
let's just assume it is. Why not?
Bro,
Yeah.
they got bigger problems than
We,
just the
we have no
coaching
reason to
coach.
tell the truth right now. Come on.
Carl
Let's
Anthony
act
Towns
like it's
got a
real.
tramp stamp, bro. What is going on?
All right, boys, let's close it out. We appreciate everybody for joining us this week. If you're watching on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, and comment there. If you're listening via podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, you can do all the same things there. Once again, we thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you back here next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.